I spent $97 and one Saturday afternoon turning this ugly cracked tile floor into something that looks like real hardwood. No contractor. No rented tools. Just me, a box cutter, and a plan. If you have ever looked at your bathroom or closet or laundry room and thought I could fix that but I do not have the money or the skill, stay right here because I am about to show you exactly how I did it under $150 total. Before we get into it, hit subscribe now because I am doing a full cost breakdown at the end, including the one mistake that almost cost me an extra $60, and you do not want to make it. The problem with this room is only 42 square feet, a small laundry nook off my kitchen. The old flooring was peeling vinyl tile from probably the 1990s, cracked in 2 spots, and honestly kind of embarrassing when guests walked past it. I did not want to hire anyone because for a room this small, most flooring companies will not even show up for less than a $500 minimum job. So I decided to try peel and stick luxury vinyl planks myself, something I had never done before in my life. Why peel and stick in 2026? If you have not looked at peel and stick flooring recently, it is not the flimsy stuff from 10 years ago. The newer luxury vinyl planks sold in 2026 have a real rigid core, a texture layer that actually feels like wood grain under your feet, and adhesive backing that is designed to bond to existing tile, concrete, or plywood without a separate glue step. That is the whole appeal here. No wet adhesive, no trowel, no waiting a day for glue to cure. What I bought and what it cost. For a 42 square foot room I bought 2 boxes of luxury vinyl planks which covered about 46 square feet after accounting for waste, and that ran me $68. I grabbed a roll of vapor barrier underlayment tape for $12, a basic vinyl flooring roller from the hardware store for $18, and a pack of transition strips for the doorway at $14. Total spent $97, well under the $150 budget, and I already owned a utility knife and a tape measure. Tools you actually need. You do not need a saw. You do not need a nail gun. Here is the full list. A sharp utility knife with extra blades because dull blades will wreck your cuts. A metal straight edge or a level to guide your cuts. Tape measure. A chalk line if your room is not perfectly square, which most rooms are not. A flooring roller or even a rolling pin from your kitchen works in a pinch. Knee pads if you value your knees. And I very much did not own any and regretted it by hour 2. Step 1: Prepping the subfloor. This is the step people skip and then wonder why their floor looks bumpy 6 months later. I started by removing the baseboards carefully with a pry bar so I could tuck the new flooring edges underneath later. Then I scrubbed the old tile with a degreaser because peel and stick adhesive will not bond well to dust, grease, or wax residue. Any cracks or gaps in the old tile I filled with a vinyl floor patching compound and let it dry overnight. The golden rule here is your subfloor needs to be clean, dry, and as flat as possible, because peel and stick vinyl will show every bump underneath it. Step 2: Planning. The layout before peeling a single sticker off. I dry laid a full row of planks across the room without removing the backing. This let me see how the last row would look, because nobody wants a 6-inch sliver of plank against the far wall. I measured the room width, divided it by the plank width, and adjusted my starting point so the first and last rows would be roughly even in size. I also marked a chalk line down the center of the room as my starting guide since this room is small and even a slight drift in your first row gets magnified across 42 square feet. Step 3: Laying the first row. This is the part everyone is nervous about and it turned out to be the easiest step. I peeled the backing off the first plank, lined it up against my chalk line, and pressed it down starting from one end and working across to push out air bubbles. Most peel and stick planks in 2026 use a click or interlock edge system in addition to the sticky backing, so you get both a mechanical lock and an adhesive bond, which honestly gave me way more confidence than I expected. I worked one plank at a time, resisting the urge to rush, because repositioning after 30 seconds becomes nearly impossible once that adhesive grips. Step 4: Handling cuts and corners. Small rooms mean lots of cuts around corners, pipes, and door frames, and this is where patience pays off. 4 straight cuts. I scored the plank with my utility knife along the straight edge 3 or 4 times, then snapped it cleanly like you would snap drywall. For cutting around the door frame and the pipe under my sink, I made a cardboard template first, traced it onto the plank, and cut slowly in small sections rather than trying to freehand one big awkward shape. I probably wasted 2 planks on bad cuts, which is exactly why I tell people to buy 10% more material than your exact square footage. Step 5: Rolling and finishing. Once every plank was down, I went over the entire floor with the flooring roller, pressing firmly in overlapping passes to make sure the adhesive fully bonded, especially along every seam. Then I reinstalled the baseboards, added a transition strip at the doorway to cover the expansion gap, and let everything sit undisturbed for 24 hours before moving furniture back in, even though the packaging said it was walkable almost immediately. The honest mistakes I made. I want to be real with you because most videos make this look flawless and it was not. My first row was not perfectly straight because I trusted my eye instead of snapping a proper chalk line, and I ended up having to pull up 3 planks and redo them, which cost me an extra 20 minutes and a little bit of my sanity. I also did not clean the subfloor thoroughly enough near the wall, and one plank has a slightly weaker bond there that I will need to press down again in a few weeks. If I did this again, I would spend an extra 15 minutes on prep and cutting templates, and it would have saved me almost an hour of rework. Full cost breakdown. Here is exactly where the $97 went. Luxury vinyl plank boxes, $68. Underlayment tape, $12. Flooring roller, $18. Wait, that is already $98, and the transition strips at $14 would put me over, so here is the truth. I actually used a leftover transition strip I already had from a previous project. If you need to buy one new, budget closer to $110 to $120 total for a room this size, still comfortably under our $150 target. Why this is worth it. The transformation genuinely surprised me. This room went from looking like the one place in my house I avoided showing anyone to a floor that looks like real wood, feels warm underfoot instead of cold tile, and took me one afternoon instead of a week waiting on a contractor's schedule. For anyone with a small bathroom, closet, laundry room, or mudroom, this is one of the highest impact, lowest cost renovations you can do yourself with zero prior flooring experience. If you are thinking about tackling a small room like this yourself, my honest advice is take the prep step seriously, buy a little extra material, and do not rush your first row because everything else lines up off of it. If this helped you, tap that like button so more people trying to fix up their homes on a budget can find this video. And subscribe if you want to see me tackle a bigger room next, because I already have a hallway that badly needs this same treatment. Thanks for watching all the way through. I will see you in the next one.